Hey, what's going on? Once again, I am Amira Blaze, and welcome back to another episode of Book Shade to all of my alternative book snobs out there. So, guys, oh my gosh, I have been reading, guys, like crazy, but you know what my new passion is now? Is listening to audiobooks. I have extensively, guys, been listening to so many different like romance audiobooks, and it has been absolutely wonderful. But guys, I gotta tell you, this series is probably one of the best like paranormal romance book series that I have ever read. Okay, like it is phenomenal. And what I'm talking about is for today's paranormal romance audiobook wrap up, we're gonna be talking about oh my gosh, guys, I love this Fire's Edge series by Abigail Owen. Make it your business, guys, to check out this series. Okay, now normally, you guys know I was really not into the shapeshifter romance, like paranormal romance, because those books, like some of them, excuse me here, some of them, they were just, maybe I was just reading some bad shapeshifter romances. But once I just came across this Fire's Edge series, guys, at like random. Like that's literally how I found it. Was I just found it at random, and I listened to the prequel, which is called The Mate, and I just finished a couple weeks ago listening to the first book in the series called The Boss, and now this is book 3, which is called The Rookie. And this is okay. So the way a Fire's Edge, guys, this series works is I forgot to mention this in my last review, is that, or wrap up. Each one of these books are standalone books, so you don't have to read them in order. But in my personal opinion, I disagree with that. I feel like you do have to read them in order, because if you don't read the prequel, The Mate, then you're not going to understand what's happening in The Boss between Finn, between Finn and his love interest, okay? Delaney, there we go. So many like relationships I have to keep in like track of. It's crazy. So yeah, you have to read The Mate, because that's the prequel to The Boss. So if you don't read that, for example, you're gonna probably wonder like, well, why, how did Finn and Delaney, how did this like come together? And of course we have Reaper. Hey, welcome, of course, to the program. All right, but moving on from that, I personally feel you should read them in order, because they all kind of overlap like with one another. And of course, Reaper has a question. Let me know, of course, what your question is. But yeah, I would suggest reading them in order, because there's a lot of relationships. I feel like if you were to jump around with this book series, you probably might be confused, okay? So The Rookie, guys, is book 3 of the Fire's Edge series by Abigail Owen. And what the premise, guys, of these books is, okay, so this takes place in like modern day, and you have these dragon shapeshifters, and they're called enforcers, okay? And enforcers, what they do is they keep they pretty much keep order between each of the dragon clans. So for example, there's like golden dragons, there are black dragons, there are red dragons, white dragons, etc., etc. And each one of these dragon clans, ever so often, they have like a king that rules for many, many centuries. But what ends up happening, you find that out, because this is book 3, we find out in the first 3 books, The Mate and, the first 2 books, The Mate and The Boss, that these particular dragon clans, everything's been pretty peaceful. But once we get to the boss, we come to find out that a new king has overthrown the throne. And of course we have Angry Beast. Hey, welcome to the program. And Angry Beast says this is awesome. Yeah, this is a great book, like great audiobook, guys. It's wonderful. Okay. But I digress. So what ends up happening is the king is overthrown for the Blue Dragon clan, and this causes well, your question is kind of dumb. I mean, not to be rude, but you were just trying to ask a question because you were just trying to be dumb. So that's why I'm ignoring your question. But moving on from that, so because of the battle of this king overthrowing becoming the new king of the Blue Dragon clan, there's a lot of I would say political unrest and turmoil between the dragon clans. Like a potential dragon war is about to go down. Like shit's about to go down. So then what ends up happening is ever so often these dragon enforcers that are they're men mainly in this series, they get this feeling inside of themselves, and they started pretty much having relations with human women. And what started to and you learn in this book, in The Rookie, that at first it wasn't like that, okay? And what happened is over time, human women would start to exhibit what are called dragon signs. So like in the first book, The Boss, Delaney, for some strange reason, would just make things go on fire. But there is, in this particular universe, there is a specific difference between like a regular like forest fire and dragon fire. Like dragon fire has like a different essence than like a regular fire would. So what these enforcers do is they help to keep order amongst the dragon world and the human world. And think they have a lot of specifics, guys. Like this is a very detailed series, but it's really good. Like for example, humans cannot know about dragons because that would it could cause their extinction. Okay, so they can transform into these massive, cool looking like badass dragons, but then they can change back into human form. But what makes this series, guys, even more complex with what I was mentioning earlier is that male dragons, or these dragon enforcers, I kind of call them like dragon warriors in a way. They started to coerce with human women, and then it took about almost 500-600 years and then all of a sudden human women started to not only exhibit like certain dragon signs, but they actually get this like symbol, this tattoo on the back of their neck, and then that signifies what's called being a dragon mate. So these are women who are human, but because they have dragon sign, they actually become dragons themselves. And these male enforcers if the tattoo is, let's say it's a blue dragon symbol, that means that your mate is supposed to be from the Blue Dragon clan, and so on and so forth. So moving from all of that, because I have to explain that or else this will not make sense. So in The Rookie, this is the third book, we are covering the relationship between Aiden, who is he's a rookie, he's the new one of all of these enforcers, or these warriors, and Sarah. Okay, so what happens if you remember, if you've read The Boss, you learn that Delaney's friend is Sarah, and apparently Sarah is showing dragon sign. But I can't give it away, guys, but let's just say that for Sarah, she's in a very unique situation as a dragon mate because she has multiple options. I'll put it that way. Now, The Rookie, they do go into detail explaining why, maybe why this happened, but I mean, they go into detail, but they don't go into enough detail. But I digress. But guys, let me tell you, The Rookie from start to finish was just the best slow burn I have ever read in a romance book, because it was very realistic. Like, you know, at first, you know, when we're introduced to Aiden, you know, Aiden is an interesting character because he's very passionate about what he does, but he's really recluse as well. And like right from the get-go, you can tell that Aiden has feelings for Sarah, but he's trying to not disrespect her, because unfortunately we find out, well, not unfortunately, well, unfortunately for her, but we find out that Sarah's mind was not erased. So she knows about the dragons and everything, you know, that happened between Finn and Delaney and everything. So it scares her to death. And then you also find out that Sarah has a very interesting situation too, that she has to deal with, unfortunately. So the main thing is, guys, will Sarah and Aiden get together? Well, you're gonna have to read that to find out. But guys, this book from start to finish was jam-packed and like action, especially towards the end of the book. It was so legendary. And then guys, let me tell you, in regards to the slow burn, it's a sexy slow burn. It's very it's sassy, it's sensual. There's a lot of like foreplay going on, which I think was really, you know, hot. But guys, let me tell you, the guy the guy that does the voice over for this audiobook, guys, once again, his voice for Aiden too is so sexy. Like, and it's and there's a lot of humor here and there, but yeah, it's a good slow burn, because I know some people hate the slow burn. They're like, hey, let's just get to the sex scene. But it's worth it, guys, in this particular audiobook, because it's very organic. Like, you can tell that like Sarah is feeling Aiden, but Aiden, because of his defensiveness, kind of pushes Sarah away. And then Sarah's thinking like, oh, he doesn't want me anymore. And it's wonderful, guys. I mean, start to finish, there's battles between dragons. Guys, there's one part I cannot tell you because it will spoil the entire book. But guys, let's just say it was the gag of the century. It was such a shocker. Literally, guys, I could not put this book down. It is so good. You also learn a little bit more, of course, about Aiden. And unfortunately, guys, Aiden has had a tough life. It's really fucking sad what you read about, you know, what Aiden has gone through. But, you know, the cool thing, and this is just me, you know, Aiden sees Sarah as being that light at the end of the tunnel, which is, it's really refreshing, because a lot of times in these like shapeshifter romances, the relationship is like really aggressive. It's like, you know, they just get together right away. But there are moments where Aiden is like second guessing himself, like, you know, should I really try to get to know her? Is it really worth it? You know, and guys, there's so many surprises and there's so many twists and turns. It like keeps you on your toes. So overall, guys, if you are looking, and I would recommend this series to beginners as well, I would say beginners specifically for shapeshifter romances, because for me, it wasn't my cup of tea, but I'm making it my cup of tea now because of this series. And also, guys, I am happy to report that Abigail Owen is coming out with a 4th book in the series, but she has not specified what that story is going to be about. But I have a 5th book, not a 4th, because there is a 4th book. It's called The Enforcer. And that's the story of Drake, who I'm really excited about, because you know me, I love me some older men. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, there is a 5th book that will be coming out hopefully very soon. And I'm thinking it's going to probably be the story of Rune. That's what I'm just that's just what I'm assuming. Because each one of these books has covered one of the major like dragon enforcer guys. Because you had Finn, you had Falcon, you had, or Fallon. I always say Falcon, Fallon. And now this book covers Aiden's story, and then the next one, the Enforcer, covers Drake's story. And guys, the stuff that you find out about Drake towards the end of this book, it will make you go like, oh my gosh, like what a mess. But guys, I highly recommend The Rookie from start to finish, guys. This book is consistent. Abigail Owen, guys, is the queen, to me personally, of writing the juiciest, sexiest sex scenes I have ever read. It makes me hot and bothered just thinking about it, okay? But yeah, if you're looking, guys, for a shapeshifter romance that has intellectualism and complexity. Oh, by the way, I will give what I like to call my prudish warning, okay? If you are prudish, if you're a prude on some things with your romance, let me just give you a heads up. A Fire's Edge series, there is a lot of really intense sex scenes, okay? It's really in your face, very descriptive. So if you are a prude, this may not be for you. But if you are not a prude, I would highly recommend this, okay? This is some very sexy sex scene. Oh, hey, we got OG. Hey, it's been a long time. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I just finished actually reading this third book in a Fire's Edge series. It's called The Rookie by Abigail Owen. But guys, let me tell you, if I could give a rating to The Rookie by Abigail Owen, I would give it the rating of masterpiece, okay? This is how you write paranormal romance, okay? You start off with the first books being the descriptive kind of history, and then you kind of weave in the first book, one particular romance, and maybe there's some other characters going in there as well, but it just flows really well. And OG says, I heard The Rookie's got some wild stuff. Wink, wink. Yeah, it's got some steamy stuff. There was stuff where I was like, man, I can't wait till I have a husband. Like, I can't wait till I have like the hottest man in my life. I want to try this. I want to try that. I definitely want to try that. I'm not flexible enough to try that. But no, it's really good. And, usually when it comes to paranormal romance, I do like fantasy settings. But the problem that I have with shapeshifter romances is sometimes like the shape-shifting part, I wasn't into that. But what dragon shapeshifters, I was like, ooh, this is sexy. Okay. And Aiden is very sexy, guys. He is this just delicious, like muscular, like Lebanese man. Good God. Like, he's got that right amount of scruff, he showers well, like he gives a shit about himself, you know what I mean? So, and OG says, I also like the shirt matching the background. Yeah, I tried to coordinate today, guys, I tried. But yeah, there is some very sexy stuff in this book series, but it's very tasteful though. It's not just the like let's just have sex and like go crazy with it, which is fine. But Abigail Owen really knows how to write and really knows how to execute it well. So that's why I give it the rating, guys, of a masterpiece, because she literally, gets you revved up from the beginning, and then that action continues to like pack on till you get to that climax, no pun intended. And the reprise is just so wonderful. And even like the ending, guys, of this book, it was very refreshing. It was very uplifting. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you're looking, guys, for a shapeshifter romance that has it all, it's got good action. The romance scenes were pretty decent. It was pretty steamy. If you're looking for like history too, with the battling between the dragon clans, you know, and all of that, I recommend that, okay? But if you have read, guys, a Fire's Edge series, let me know. Definitely in that brutally honest, vicious comment section below. And OG says that apparently you guys like the long hair. Yeah, I was talking about this vampire romance book series called Black Dagger Brotherhood. And I figured, I was like, you know, if I'm talking about vampires, I have this like two-toned like vampire kind of hair, you know, so I figured that would work. I tried using a curling wand and it was an epic fail, so I just kind of tried to straighten it. But I am getting a hair like wave crimper because I want to like crimp it. And yeah, so I just sometimes I like to change my hair because, and this is the honest reason why though, I should be more confident with my natural hair. But see, what I notice is when I wear wigs and stuff like that, people leave me the fuck alone with talking trash about my hair. But as soon as I wear my natural hair, here come all the like bullshit kind of, you know, people talking about, oh, your hair is nappy. So I think I might stick to ever so often putting on a wig or something so people can shut the fuck up. It's really annoying, you know? It's like, you know, when are we going to get to a place in society, right, where people just accept people for being who they fucking are and not have to deal with, you know, being constantly criticizing people for something that is not their fault. That's just how God made them. Like, how about we be a society sometimes where we just love and accept people for being who the fuck they are? You know, it's so sad, guys, that there are people out there that have to get plastic surgery and stuff just because they want to have a peace of mind. I was even considering doing that myself, you know, getting a facelift and doing all that shit. So, you know, but then I learned that I could do all that plastic surgery, right? And someone still will want to, you know, tell me some bullshit. So I've just kind of gotten to the point in my life, and I think many of you can relate to that, where it's just like you just stop giving a fuck what people think and you just do you and just, you know, and do you. That's what's really important, guys. So, all right, guys, that's the end of my audiobook wrap up for this week. I'm starting up book 3 for Black Dagger Brotherhood. So that's about Zetas with his sexy ass. And usually I'm not, like, when it comes to my love interest, usually I'm not into that dark, mysterious kind of like warrior kind of guy, but it's just something about Zetas that just does it for me. I don't know, but we'll talk about that further once I finish reading it. I still have to finish up Marcus by M.A. Gonzalez, and it's really fucking good. It's also it's a shapeshifter that falls in love with a vampire. How interesting is that? It's really fucking good. So I'll probably start getting into finishing that up hopefully tomorrow. And yes, you know, and that's true. There is someone for everybody. But you know, the thing is though, I just think sometimes when it comes to beauty, people just get too picky. You know, like for me, I would go out with a guy that's blind. I would go out with a man in a wheelchair. For me, I don't give a fuck. It's about the love connection. That's what really matters. You know, and for me, what really is a turn on for me though is, yeah, if you look good, okay, that's fine. But it's your personality that I kind of weigh more. That's what's important. I mean, you still have to take care of yourself because, you know, I do my best to take care of myself and look as presentable as I can. But to me, personality does weigh a little bit more, is because I want to be stimulated by your personality, okay? If you got the sex appeal, Hey, nothing wrong with that. But I just feel that, like, when it comes to relationships and stuff like that, and that's why I like reading, guys, the romance genre, is because you learn a lot of these things. Like, you learn the differences between, you know, men and women and how we behave. And yeah, some of it's cliche, but here's the thing, guys, with every cliche, there's some truth hidden in there. And like, for example, with this series of Fire's Edge, what I really learned is that, and this is from the female perspective here, but if someone really loves you, they really would want to make it work. And like, you don't have to change yourself, and like, you know, you don't have to be something that you're not. Like, when someone sincerely loves you, like, they love you, and they don't give a shit what anybody else thinks, you know. And that's something that I kind of learned from that series as well. And OG says, for me, hygiene is the most important thing ever. Yeah, don't get me wrong, hygiene is important, you know, but I think hygiene is something that women should not have to teach men. I mean, that's just me. You know, if you are a grown-ass man, you should know how to take care of your hygiene. I should not have to come after you like your mom, you know, to tell you to put deodorant on, to tell you how to brush your teeth, to tell you to shave. Like, you a grown-ass man, you should know how to handle your hygiene, you know? And I don't think, you know, let's say, you know, as your girlfriend, you know, or whatever you're into, you know, I shouldn't have to tell you what to do, because I feel like when you a grown-ass man, you should know how to handle your responsibility, you know, how to take care of yourself, and, you know, how to handle your business. Now, there's nothing wrong with me, like, let's say, you know, like, hey, honey, you know, try this on. I think you look a lot better in that, you know. But like, I'm not gonna be like, you know, I'm not gonna be like The Rock and like throw you in the fucking shower. You know, like, shut up, jabroni. You know, I'm not gonna do that shit. But I really feel that men should know how to handle, you know, how to be a man. Just like how women, you know, we learn how to take care of ourselves, you know, and how to be presentable as women. And this is why I feel it's important, you know, like I've always said that, or said this on the show, that, you know, being a gentleman, especially in this, you know, in this time, it can be kind of tough, you know. But I think there is a personal responsibility, you know, as a man, woman, whatever, to know how to take care of yourself and be self-sufficient, so that when you get in a relationship with someone, you're getting in that relationship because you love each other. It's not because you need something from them, you know. And if they want to help you, or, you know, or if they care about you and they want to do something, there's nothing wrong with that, you know. That's another sign of love as well. But, you know, I just think, you know, I just feel, you know, a relationship should be an organic thing. It shouldn't feel like work, you know what I mean? Because sometimes I feel like people just get in a relationship now just to get in a relationship, and it's not about, you know what I mean, guys? Like, people just get in a relationship because they don't want to be the only one of their friends that's single, or people get in a relationship because they're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm getting to this point in my life, I gotta do that. It should feel organic, and that person should respect you, like, you know. And oh, that's a good question. And OG asks, what do you think of men forcing their girlfriends to shave their hands, legs, etc.? Now, here's my thing, okay? When you're in a relationship, I believe in equal opportunity. So if you're telling me to shave my legs, shave my armpits, you know, do all the Brazilian, do all that shit, then I expect you to do the same. Point blank, period. like that's the thing. If you're gonna tell me to shave, then you need to shave as well. But see, for me, I'm this is just me. I just, you know, we keep it real here. I like hairy men. So you know. And that's my thing is if I can accept you for being hairy, then you should accept me for being, you know, being who I am. As long, and here's the thing, guys, as long as you got good hygiene, you know, and you have good grooming methods, it's like, who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Like, as long as your hygiene is good, that's all that matters. But yeah, I like a hairy guy. Like that's just me personally. But if like I'm with a hairy guy, like super, and I'm talking super hairy men, you know what I mean? Like if I'm with a super hairy guy and then like we're talking and one day he come and tell me like, hey, you need a Brazilian and you need, I'll be like, you know what, honey? Then we're both getting waxed. And a lot of men don't like hearing that, even though there are guys that do wax or whatever. I don't care, you know what I mean? I just feel as long as your hygiene is good, and you know, that's just how I see it. But you know, if you're telling women that they have to do something, then you can't get mad at us if we tell you that you need to do it too. So if you're gonna tell me to, you know, get my armpits waxed or whatever, guess what? Your armpits are also going to get waxed. But all right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna take this damn wig off, this fucked up makeup and all this shit, and I'm going to do some reading, honey. Okay? Good God. All right, guys, I'll see you guys coming up. I do the show on Thursdays and Fridays, so I update the show twice a week. So guys, like I always say, of course, remember that every day is Halloween. All right, take it easy, guys. I'll be doing another episode coming up next week, Thursday. Take it easy, guys.